This is the Riot Podcast.
Guys, this is just going to be good enough.
Just good enough. That's actually what I said to Nikki. I was like,
right
that's
into it,
good
this
enough.
Is good enough.
It's good enough. So in the podcast today, we talk about Terminator.
We do.
And Dolby Cinema.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about how we should all get out and vote. Probably. I don't know. Napvember.
Which I think is the biggest thing from this morning. If we have a look back and say what was the moment where something really clicked, it'd be that.
You're probably right.
So you should probably take a trip over
Which
to
is
Radio.
sad. You think about all the show we had.
And this was it? No, this is the one that felt the most right.
Yeah.
But if you go to RadioU Riot on Facebook, you'll see a little bit more, which means a picture, which accurately describes our Napvember feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And you can put a little comment there if you're for it, or what's your pros and cons.
Yeah. Hey, right now, the inside of my whole mouth just feels like a big cauliflower.
No, it's not that bad. It's more than nacho stuff.
I didn't say it was bad.
Well, you've said that.
Well, okay, it is bad.
Because you
I don't
burped
like
it up and
I'm
you
burping. Nikki gave me these nacho cheese cauliflower chips.
I feel the nacho like powder in my nose, like right in the back of my nose.
Maybe, I don't know. My body's just like nacho whatever. All I'm getting is cauliflower. If I had eaten a plate of cauliflower, I couldn't taste any more cauliflower right now.
I didn't notice it like that.
That's because you eat a lot of cauliflower.
It's cauliflower, and then there's this other thing, which is basically like, I think it's yucca or something.
Fake cheese, probably.
No, it's like a root plant. A root vegetable. Okay. And then it was dairy free, so I thought you might like it.
I appreciate you sharing it with me. And if you want to know the truth, if you have that bag right here, I just keep eating them.
Keep eating them.
It tasted really good. Mm-hmm. It's this lingering aftertaste that is the problem. It's not the actual thing.
Any alternative thing has a terrible aftertaste. So that's where it really, even like with the Impossible and the Beyond Burgers, if you're having just the hamburger without, all the stuff to confuse you with it,
right? You
can taste the aftertaste that always gives it up as to which one is slightly different. But the bag's in the car. I put it out there.
So other things in the podcast you'll hear, the Nikki's very honest reaction to some movies from the weekend.
I just was really looking forward to it, and the only way then was down for disappointing.
And the last thing you'll hear is theoretically my favorite story of the day, and that involves Wisconsin and cheese and Pizza Hut. So you guys enjoy the podcast.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget RadioU Riot on Facebook, or if you haven't followed our YouTube channel, we should be having Brandon from Glasslands in tomorrow with us during the podcast.
Enjoy it. Bye.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
Yesterday, the New York City Marathon. If you ran the marathon, do you think today, are you off today?
Well, I would think it'd fall under a recovery day.
Seems like you might need, the day.
The New York City Marathon always runs later than I think it does, so I never notice it.
You always pick up a couple of marathons like that in November.
Is that because you have to qualify, or?
Well, I don't know. Honestly, yes, there is that whole thing of there's a cutoff for qualifying for the Boston Marathon.
A lottery or some sorts, or good luck getting in.
I don't know why it's in November, but I know, in our hometown, there are multiple races that will happen in November that are not
Turkey
the marathon,
trots.
but they're, there's the hot chocolate 15K is coming up, things like that. So they had their marathon yesterday. I think it would be awesome to run the New York City Marathon. Maybe not the marathon. You guys can I do a half?
Is there a half marathon?
Can I do a half?
Half of a half.
I want to go halfway.
Halvesies.
I want a 50%.
Can we you do one half and then someone else does the other half? You
have a
tag
relay?
out.
They have marathon
relays. They do. You can do that.
So I don't know, but I know that they had over 50,000 participants yesterday.
That is so many.
So many people running. Everybody's running at one time. It's nuts. So Joyceline Chipkowski, she was it's her first New York City Marathon. She won the women's division yesterday.
What a way to start.
I know. She said her focus was on winning, or not. Man, I swear. Her focus was just to finish.
Okay, good. No, it's not. That means she's a really good runner, obviously, because she won the women's side of it.
Yeah.
But if you're like, oh, I just want to participate, but you're like super, super good.
That's what I said when I run a half. I'm like, my goal is just to finish,
Just to get it done. And that is the truth. It's like everybody else just wants to get it done.
Oh, and then Jeffrey Kamor of Kenya won the men's event. This is his second win in 3 years. But, and of course, Nikki and I, maybe some of you guys do. I do not follow marathon running around the world, but Lolisa Dezisa, who was one of the front runners, dropped out after 7 miles. Apparently, he had an injury at the World Championships last month. So,
congratulations to everybody who ran the New York City Marathon.
45 degrees. They say that's ideal marathoning temperature. So
low winds. No.
I don't know the answer to that, but yeah, if you look at the photos of just all of the people together running, it is wild.
It's quite a thing to put on.
It really is. And I think it would just be cool. I mean, I'm not from New York. New York's a fun place to visit, and it would be fun to see the sights. It
is, but I like to visit New York City. I don't know if I want to run New York City.
It's running a marathon is just interesting because they shut down the roads. It's this weirdly unique opportunity because you don't get to run on the middle of the street in downtown. And, of course, it would be nice to just slow down and take in the sights, but it's for time.
That defeats the purpose of the marathon.
So you got to go.
A Rotten Tomatoes score so high, they refuse to make it public. The Riot on RadioU.
So the new Terminator movie came out on Friday, and they thought they had something, Nikki.
They did?
They really thought they had something.
Well, they were hoping, they brought back. And my favorite part of seeing all the press was they kept saying it was so much better than right around the lines of 1 and 2. And then they would just ignore the rest of the Terminator movies. They're just like, oh, it's like 2. They didn't want you to remember the other ones.
No, they're like, hey, we're not paying attention to the others. We're doing our own new thing.
It's like, what movies?
Which is what they did with the last one. And not the one before that, but they thought they had something, and it made so little money this weekend.
Well, no, actually not so bad. $29 million.
Nikki, no.
What did they think it was going to bring in?
They thought they were reinvigorating the franchise, and they were going big.
So what did it do compared to the one before? I feel like that was a step up.
Terminator Genesis opening weekend.
Like, I feel
I can't spell opening.
That seems to me like it's way more money than I thought it was going to. I thought like 15, 16 million.
Terminator Genesis, according to this, made $82 million its opening weekend.
How is that even possible? I think that's like the whole thing.
Or no, in its opening week.
Ah, okay.
It made $82 million. That's
worldwide?
Look, friend.
Universe-wide?
I don't know. I haven't gotten a chance to do the digging here. Let's see. 2 films projected. Looks like it made $30 million over its opening weekend, but if you count its opening week, it made, I don't know,
a lot more.
I'd have to read more into it. It's this article is full of that language where they're trying to distract you from how much it actually made.
So then it's really hard to actually find out what it actually made.
But yeah, Terminator Dark Fate, only $29 million.
Is that worldwide, though? Or I guess
no,
I shouldn't ask.
That's domestic.
Domestic.
Mm-hmm. That's just here in the United States. Now, worldwide, it made a little more, but that was another one of the, what a disappointing debut it made overseas. So it's just like, yeah, nothing worked. Okay, so the Terminator Genesis, this is according to IMDb. That was the last Terminator movie. Its 7-day total was $49 million. And Terminator Dark Fate, which is the new one, it's currently at $29 million with a little room to move.
Gotcha. So there's only up.
That's it tanking.
It tanked. Are you mentioning that you did see it?
I did see it. That's my money.
And you liked it?
It's a good movie.
And you liked it enough to convince Eric, and then he went and saw it on Friday night?
Now, that's not a completely true.
He said that you said it was so good, and then he was like, he went and go see it.
That's not exactly true. I mean, we'll pull up the transcripts.
Can I read those notes?
We'll pull up the transcripts.
Well, I was surprised because he didn't seem like he wanted to watch it, and he said it was actually really good.
That's
surprisingly
good.
That's
the thing that's funny in the whole mix is you actually have a very competent action movie that, of all the Terminator nonsense they've done in the last however long, this is the one where it's like, okay, this feels more like an actual Terminator movie. It makes sense. They really did honestly push the story forward in a way that is interesting, and there's no way they're going to make any more because it just hasn't made enough money.
We just keep saying that, and they keep doing it.
They got to be done after this,
Please don't make any more.
If it's louder than it has to be and way worse than it has any right to be, it must be the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Now, moments ago in this studio, I was maligned, even though it was a slight malignation. It was real. Nikki said that I messaged Eric to convince him to go to the movies.
No, I didn't say convince. I said because you said it was so good, he then wanted to go.
I did like the movie, but you know what was even more impressive than the movie itself is that I watched Terminator Dark Fate in a Dolby Cinema.
Oh, did you?
Yes. Now, Dolby Cinemas, I did not know this, but they are only in AMC locations. And so I have been wanting to check that out for a while. I've seen people talk about them, and I always walk past them when I go to the movies. And I've wanted
better sound?
Not just better.
You can actually notice a difference?
Oh, enormous. Honestly. And I know what you're thinking, it's just because they said, no, dude. I promise you.
Let's put you in the placebo theater and see if you can tell.
One of the things that has annoyed me is that I've gone to see a couple of IMAX movies at AMC, and they're IMAX light. If you go to a museum, they have these IMAX screens that are 1,000 feet tall and they're all crazy. If you go to IMAX at AMC, they're like, and here's our screen that we're pretending is an IMAX.
We promise it's an IMAX one. We swear it is.
And I just feel like it's just not, it is not worth the upgrade. People talk it up, but I have yet to feel like the experience of an IMAX film at AMC is actually worth the money. This, I feel completely different about.
It was worth it.
Dolby Cinema, it's Dolby Atmos, which that you can get that at home, but I guarantee you most people's home setups don't sound like this. But the thing I couldn't get over was just the absolutely seamless movement of sound through the theater. The power of the bass, it was incredible. I was blown away by the presentation of that Terminator movie over the weekend. Enough to where I was like, man, I'm seeing all my movies like this.
In the future, at least action movies are worth it.
It was just one of those things where I don't feel like there was a time there for a while where myself and Eric and Nikki, we would go to the movies and it's like they were opening a new theater every other week. And each time it would be like, nope, this one's better. Nope, this one's better. I don't feel like we've experienced a nope, this is better for a really long time. This one feels like a real legit upgrade.
An actual upgrade.
Yeah. The only thing I will tell you is apparently Dolby also designed the seats in the theater, the recliners. They suck.
Are they just not comfortable or?
They are the weirdest, tilts.
But you need to be that way in order to get the sound.
Maybe.
Maybe that's it.
I just know that I played around with it for a long time and I was like, okay, I'm not uncomfortable, but I'm definitely not comfortable now.
The theater we normally go to, those seats, they have new ones. They're heated ones.
And are they the skinny ones?
I don't think so. Eric at least just talked about how they upgraded to where they heat or something. He said he couldn't find the button to make them heat, so he's not sure if they just all turn on or what. But I mean, people are slowly upgrading stuff. You get new sound.
I'll tell you,
new skinny seats. Yay!
I can't speak to where Eric went, but I can tell you that Dolby theaters. I think I paid an extra $2, maybe $3 for that. And you guys know I can be a real cheapskate.
Yeah, but you love sound with movies.
Totally worth it. Worth every dollar. So, I was impressed. Genuinely impressed.
Wow. Not only are you already awake, but you're listening to The Riot? Your day is off to a pretty rough start. The Riot on Radio U.
You guys know the deal. Tomorrow's election day, right? Have you registered to vote? Too late. Because if you're not registered yet, you're not going to be able to vote tomorrow. Now, Election Day in the U.S. this time around, it's been, it's a little quiet. Mm-hmm. It's not as big of a deal. And
depends on which area you're at.
Okay. True story.
My area, there's some pretty heavily contested things.
There are a lot of people.
I judge that by how many yard signs we see and, how big they get. And now the one in my areas it's a yard sign that, says such and such. And then there's a yard sign, like it's a second sign put on top of the sign.
Yeah.
It's that important. It gets 2 signs.
Good for them. There are a bunch of signs in my neighborhood that are like, it's not a new tax. You're just...
Like, yes, it is, then. If they're saying that, that means it is.
If you're telling me it's not a tax, now I'm even more concerned because it feels like a scam. It's not a tax, it's a scam.
Don't notice it's a tax, all right? It's fine. That's a great one.
I haven't even said that out loud yet. I've been thinking it, though. I drove past one, and I'm just like, it's not a new tax. Now I know you're screwing me.
I see it now.
I don't know what it is.
Thanks for helping me out.
You guys are definitely trying to screw me over right now. But I'm telling you all of this to remind you, if you haven't yet, to make time tomorrow to go in and exercise your right to randomly choose names that you don't understand and issues you're not aware of.
Look it up today or before you go. You're supposed to look up the stuff before you go so you know.
You know what? I tell you guys this every year. All you have to do is go to your local news, whatever website. You can do it a couple of ways. For some people, depending on your area, your local board of elections may have the ballot online for you to look at. I don't know that it's mandated, but a lot of places do.
Yeah.
So you can do your research that way. I have also found that in my area, there's a local paper, like a county newspaper. And if you go to their website,
they cover it all?
They do. You can go. They'll show you the candidates and some of their maybe voting history, where they stand on different issues, et cetera, and you can read through all of that stuff. And what I typically do is vote in advance. I will go in, I'll write down who I've decided to vote on, and then I go in and cast my ballots, on site.
Just remember to read everything thoroughly, or before you know it, it's not a new tax. We'll just be kicking you.
It's not a new tax. It's the same old tax.
It's the same old tax that it is.
Oh, man.
You just need to look at the details and how they're wording things. Terminator was the #1 Terminator movie over the weekend. It's true, but they're
not lying.
They're making word games.
Nikki, I don't want to get all Terminator on you, but it was the #1 movie over the weekend.
True, but still, it was the #1 Terminator movie.
Also true. See how both statements are true?
Yes, they are.
See?
Just got to be careful when it comes to what's going on in your area and what you want to vote for.
It's not
a new tax. No, of course not.
Everything you love about the Riot, plus a handy-dandy fast-forward option. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Nikki, I love this list from Food Beast that you sent me.
I thought you would like it.
So they call it the Power Rankings of the Top 10 Fast Food Game Changers of 2019.
So basically, what were some of the big fast food items that were introduced from this year?
Mm-hmm. So, I'm just going to glance through and give you some of my favorites. The Subway Hand-Spun Milkshake.
I think that's the Halo Top ones.
Have you? Real talk, I probably haven't eaten at Subway in 5 years.
No, but I love Halo Top ice cream.
Okay.
It's like a protein ice cream.
Okay.
It's really good. So they did a partnership.
But is it good for you?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
So I think it is. Or so you say to yourself every time you eat it. It's a much better choice of having this. It's like a protein one.
They put Panda Express at #7, and that was because of the Sichuan hot chicken.
Yeah, that was all right.
I thought that was okay.
Well, I had it twice. The first time was not made with love. The second time was made better, and when you have it that way, it was best.
Yeah, okay. But it looked to me, it just looked like Nashville hot chicken.
Yeah, that's all it was.
I mean, it really, okay. Then they put at #4 the KFC Cheeto sandwich.
I also had that, and that was also not made with love. They just slapped that thing together.
Nikki, it sounds like you're pretty hard to please.
Is it me? No, the cheese wasn't even coated on anything. It was just half done.
I'm just telling you that
I'm the connection.
You're the thing that's connecting this.
No, I think what it is when you get to restaurants and they're doing these specialty items, they're so sick and tired of doing it that they're just like, whatever, and they just throw it together and throw it out the window.
Just throw it out. Just here. Just take it. Don't come back.
The other one was from Krispy Kreme.
Dude,
it was their original donuts, but filled with the cream, the vanilla one, and I think there was a chocolate one.
It's very
Those
good.
were super good.
Those, I'll tell you, those Reese's peanut butter ones they did. That
was also good.
Like, it was a short-term thing. They don't make them anymore, but it was like chocolate with peanut butter in it. That was a delicious donut. Number 2, they say, is the Popeyes chicken sandwich, which was back yesterday. And then their number 1, which, come on, what? Their number 1 mover and shaker in the food space here, the fast food game changers, is the Carl's Jr. / Hardee's Beyond Meat burger.
Yeah, that one. Even though you could say alternative meats was just one of the biggest things for
now, that's true.
A lot of fast food
A lot of places were trying it. So, oh, man.
Don't get you started on that. Is that what you're going to say?
I just had a memory. Maybe, you know what? What the heck? It's Monday. We're all complaining. Maybe I'll tell you about that one next. But I was at Burger King over the weekend, and they had a thing where it was like get a Whopper and an Impossible Whopper for, I don't know how much it was, but it was like that was the deal. You get one of each. I assume it's so I can throw my Impossible Whopper away and still have a Whopper.
And still have something to eat. One of the other items was the sippy cups from Starbucks.
Yeah.
The cups with the lid. So they said that was also innovative for...
Yeah, that really changed my game.
2019. That's some of the list of fast food innovative things from the year.
Maybe the Riot would sound better if they spent less time improving their lives at their gym. That was sarcasm. It's the Riot on Radio U.
This is not new information. These are things that you know. Burger King's the worst place you can ever eat.
Now, you go back and forth between that and Taco Bell. So which is which?
No, okay, let me rephrase it. Taco Bell will clean you out inside, like Drano.
Burger King will suck your soul.
But
having to order.
The thing is, like, Taco Bell will give you your food. Burger King is just like, they don't like you, they don't care that you're there, and they wish you wouldn't come back.
Oh, you know what's sad is I've been to many of Burger Kings just like that.
So here was my thought. I'm going to the movies Friday. I'm on kind of a tight schedule. I need something to eat. And I'm like, you know what? I don't have a whole lot of time. I know what I'll do. I'll use the app and I'll order my food in advance. And that way they'll have it. Now, the thing that I've thought about more and more about ordering on the app is this. Is everybody's talking about how, you know, by ordering on the app or using some ordering machine, we're eliminating jobs, right? Because that means there wasn't somebody there to take my order. And then I realized that I actually don't want to eliminate the person that takes the order. I want to eliminate the person that makes the food.
Well, then what are you going to do then?
I want a machine to make it.
Oh, I
want the robot to make it.
You want the robot to make the food.
Here's what using an app is. An app is literally you writing down very specifically what you want and handing it to them.
No chance really for a mistake.
They have it written down in front of them. They can go back to it. They can look at it. They can reference it. They can know it. All of that. It's just like, man, it's perfect. Like, actually, this system should be just like everything should work exactly the way it should. It's no problem because whoever's making the food, no problem, right? Wrong. Like, I ordered this thing. They gave me the exact opposite of what I ordered.
Can I guess?
What?
Did it have cheese on it when it wasn't supposed to?
It's among the problems.
And was there onions on it?
Everything.
Everything was on it?
It was basically like I went in and told them everything I didn't want on it, and they were like, it says double. We put double on it.
We put everything you hated and then some.
Unreal. So what's great is they hand me the right drink, which disarms you because I get this drink and I'm like, oh, they got my drink order right. So I'm sure whatever is in this bag is also okay.
Did you take it back?
No, I drove over to the movie theater. I have no time. And so here's how I know that the dark evil that runs Burger King is not just a human endeavor, but is in fact some sort of an odd spiritual something. And you're like, no, listen, I'm not done. So I get my burger, I pull into the parking lot, and I pull out my burger and immediately know something's wrong because there's no way it's stacked that high.
Unless They put it full of things that you can't eat.
They're like double onions, double cheese, double. I was like, fine. And there's fries in the bag. And I didn't order fries. And I was like, well, at least I can eat those French fries. So I grab my fries and I run up to the box office to meet my friends because I'm like, hey, they're waiting on me to buy tickets, whatever. And so
what did you do?
I get about, I don't know how far away from them, and I wave. And I'm waving with my right hand. I've got my French fries in my left hand. And after I wave, I bring my hand down and I smack the French fries out of my hand. And they spill
on the floor.
All over the floor.
It's like, you can't win, can you?
Burger King is evil. And their evil has followed me all the way over here to make sure that I got nothing to eat. They got my money. They handed me food. I can't eat any of it. And let me tell you what, if I'm in the studio and French fries hit the floor, I'll eat off the floor.
But not where you were.
But you know what? The floor of the movie theater, like not even in, but no, it was out. And so I'm on my hands and knees picking up Burger King French fries off the filthy floor, and I was like, this
and you can't even eat them.
Perfect.
Wow,
this is perfect. This completes my Burger King experience.
Burger King shame.
Has brought me to my knees and put my face in the filth. Perfect.
And you were still hungry. But no, you had your drink. Your drink was fine.
Not that I could carry that into the theater. I just left that in the car.
Put it up your shirt. They won't notice. You're fine.
I have a medical condition.
Don't judge me.
Don't ask.
Don't judge my body shape.
Don't ask if you don't want to know, and believe me, you don't want to know.
Sorry that worked out that way. Not really surprised, but sorry.
How coordinated do you have to be that you can't wave and hold French fries at the same time?
Maybe it's harder than we thought.
It was bad enough the first time around, but now it's worse. Don't believe us? Just keep listening. You'll find out soon enough. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
We were talking earlier about my lack of participation in No Shave November and a desire for us to come up with a November alternative that is revolved around napping.
Well, usually you have No Shave November or the mustache one where you grow in a mustache. But you came up with an excellent alternative that I think everybody can participate in.
So I originally was saying Mo Nap November, which is very unoriginal. But Aaron and Keith, both on their own, came up with Napvember.
So that way you would take a nap every day in November.
That's right.
Now you can still start even though we're a few days in.
It's Napvember.
It's Napvember. It's so beautiful.
It actually is pretty great,
really,
right?
Really, really works.
I mean, and in some ways it goes hand in hand with No Shave November because it's a laziness initiative.
Well, now that you're not shaving, you guys have plenty of time.
You've got extra time to nap.
To be able to nap, even though, and I know we love naps because it's like this forbidden thing or this amazing thing when you actually get one.
Yeah.
But if you had to do it every day, would it become annoying by the end of the month?
Do you eat every day?
You're right. It's a good point.
So,
I mean, it depends.
Do you?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
So I think napping should be okay.
I
you
think
have to make time to nap.
I think you're going to find a way to make it work, Nikki. I feel good about you being able to do this.
If you partake in Napvember.
Yeah. And
gosh, it sounds so good.
I know.
Really, really work. It must be a thing already.
So, you know what? Let's Google it.
It must be a thing.
See. If it's not, we really need to be out there making it happen. It looks like somebody may have thought about it 3 years ago on Twitter.
Well, let's bring it back.
Bring it back. That's right. Man, nobody ever talks about that. And what about everybody's like, be part of our No Shave November contest. What about a Napvember contest?
Well, I feel like I could see an app in the future. In this app, you actually check in when you're napping. That way you can mark every day of the month that you napped and you get something at the end.
Make sure that you're getting it.
It's awesome. I like it.
I think it sounds fantastic.
So if anybody else wants to do Napvember, just text us a yes, you're in. And if anybody actually does it, let us know.
We need to do this, Nikki.
You going to try or?
Well, I mean, we're already... What? Okay. Did I nap? Oh my gosh.
Have you napped every day?
Yep.
You You're already doing it?
I totally have.
Oh, my gosh. It's already there.
I know. Watched Terminator on Friday, got burned by Burger King, took a nap.
Well, that was a long, emotional day for you.
Saturday, had a firewood delivery, spent a bunch of time stacking and splitting firewood.
Took a nap. Sunday?
Well, got up, blah, 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 took a nap.
Took a nap today?
Well, we're not there yet.
Well, you're going to have to take a nap.
The day is still young.
Please, I know you don't do the shaving thing, but could you please do the Napvember?
Yeah.
Please.
Last Thursday, I took a nap at 7 p.m.
That's supposed to be close to nighttime.
I got up for a while, and then I was like, I'm going back to bed now.
Uh-oh.
In case you're wondering, yes, we do get complaints.
They have gone too far. This time, they are going to be held accountable.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
Okay, Nikki, here's your option. You can have some heartwarming news or some disappointing news. Which one do you want?
I feel like let's do the disappointing news.
Really?
Why not?
That's not what I thought you were going to say.
Well, you want to go heartwarming then?
Well, we'll go disappointing followed by heartwarming.
That way we end on a high note?
Well, then we still have more show after that.
Well, plenty of time to still be disappointed again.
Okay. So, Krispy Kreme, right? They're a donut place. Perhaps you've heard us talk about them as recently as 20 minutes ago. I like a good Krispy Kreme donut.
So you're reading a list of some of the top things that fast food or food establishments did over 2019. And Krispy Kreme made the list when they stuffed the original glazed donut with the cream filling. Mm-hmm. That made the list.
Nikki, do you know that there has not been a Krispy Kreme donut store of any kind in the state of Minnesota for 11 years? So
they used to have one and then they went away?
Yep, that's right.
I wonder why.
Well, I don't know, but that's enough for somebody to get a hankering, you know?
to go across state lines to go get some?
It's real.
They cross state lines?
Jason, 21 years old. He's from Champlin, Minnesota. He would drive to a Krispy Kreme store in Clive, Iowa, to fill his car with 100 dozen.
Wow. Donuts?
Yep.
So to come back and eat them or freeze them or sell them?
Sell them. So, okay, he does 100 dozen, brings them back, sells them for approximately $20 each. So that
$20 a box?
Yeah. So he's getting about $10 a box, a.k.a., $1,000.
He must have a group of friends that are really into it.
He has some people, he says, that will buy 10 boxes from him at a time. Yeah, like he's known as the donut guy.
Wow.
And he will make these deliveries. But think about that. He, on a Saturday, gets up. It's a 270-mile round trip. That's a pretty significant time investment. That's about 5 hours in the car.
Dude, he's basically a delivery driver.
He is, but he also has to pay for his own gas. So, but at the end of the day, for about 6 hours of work and what is probably $40 or $50 worth of gas, he's clearing about $900 tax-free.
Not a bad idea.
That's better than I'm doing, man.
I thought you were going to say Krispy Kreme has a problem with that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was the story over?
Oh, there is a problem?
Remember, this is the disappointing story.
I know. It's like, hey, this seems great.
So the problem that Jason ran into is that some people found out about him, and they decided they wanted to write an article about him in the St. Paul Pioneer Press.
And then the St. Paul Pioneer Press got picked up.
By the Associated Press. And then Krispy Kreme read the Associated Press and sent him a cease and desist. They actually didn't send him a letter, I don't think. I think they may have just called him and said, hey, you're not allowed to do that. And he's like, well, why? And they're like, because it creates a liability. That's right. He wasn't even getting a discount. He's paying full price for them. They say that he's creating a liability issue. My thing is, if you really read this, I don't think he has to stop.
I don't know.
Technically,
I don't know if Krispy Kreme says you're not allowed to do that somewhere. Like that would have to be stated.
I don't know how you could do that.
It's just because you're reselling the item.
Right, but that's not illegal. It is not illegal for me to resell something, right?
I don't know with food. Yeah,
okay. I was going to say
that's the only difference because food is something where could be a liability if you bought something from Krispy Kreme and then you did something to the items and then sold them and they thought they were Krispy Kreme. who could be held liable.
I'll tell you, one year I practically paid for all my Christmas presents by selling Target clearance items on eBay.
Yeah.
I made...
But that's clothes, not food.
Well, it actually was all from their tech department. They had this stack of games that they sold for like $5 each, and I sold them for, I think, $30 or $40 each.
Look at that, making money.
Yeah. It felt a little like going through the dumpster behind Target, but you know what? When those presents opened just the same...
And that's just as fine.
No
so if
problem.
you're doing something along those lines and you're not like an Uber Eats or a DoorDash or something, you just need to be quiet about it.
Yeah, because this right here, this is just Krispy Kreme getting mad that they're not getting the money.
Yes.
This isn't about liability. They're just mad that somebody's making bank on their product.
And they're going to make enough noise to try to get the guy to stop.
And now they'll be like, and now we're coming back to Minneapolis.
Since this guy's able to sell so many. See, I would have taken the different term. Or like, oh, we're really glad he's doing it. Maybe he shouldn't do it as much, but let's work in partnership. Or can he start a franchise? Something like that.
Can we get a ton of money out of him and he could stop making all this tax-free money to pay for his education?
Well, he'll get some and they'll get some.
Yeah! You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Now, I gave Nikki an option. I said she could have disappointing or she could have heartwarming, and she chose disappointing first, but since the show must go on...
We still have time for heartwarming.
Yeah, we're in there. Last week, we told the story of Stephen Morris. Stephen is in the UK, and he is a popular violinist. He's played on film soundtracks from The Lord of the Rings, and what else? I think maybe Harry Potter, James Bond, and a few other things. And he did these recordings using a very famous violin that is his. This violin was created in 1704 by an individual whose name I do not currently have in front of me.
Was it like $5,000 or $6,000 worth of a violin, or was it more than that?
You're a sweet kid.
Was it high? I thought it was $5,000.
The $5,000 violin is available now at Walmart.
I'm not sure. I've never bought a violin.
This violin was worth about $330,000.
Oh, yeah, that's not an everyday violin.
It was made by David Techler in 1709. So he takes this violin with him. He leaves it on the train. Gets off the train, subway, whatever.
Says goodbye to the violin.
Leaves it in the rack and walks off. There's CCTV footage of somebody later grabbing it and also walking off. So this makes big news last week. They say, it's great. Somebody reached out on Twitter and was like, hey, I know the guy that has your violin. I think I can work this out. And they set up an exchange.
Yeah.
The police are on site, but they don't do anything. So the guy hands off the violin, says that he's very sorry about everything and that he has left things on the train before, and that's it.
So are they treating it like the guy stole the violin?
No charges are being pressed.
Do we feel like that's what the guy was doing, though?
You know what, Nikki?
Or are we just not making any judgment?
In a court of law, your emotions.
Because it's not like the guy on his own went to return the violin. No. I assume it has a little luggage tag on it.
I mean, I don't know. Nikki, sometimes there's a finders keepers mentality in the world.
There is.
Losers weepers. Perhaps you're familiar with it.
That's true.
But when the loser was weeping, the finder was like, you know what? Maybe I'm not a keeper.
And I think he realized he probably would have eventually been found out.
Yeah. So, dude, I mean, you steal a $500 violin, you're probably all right.
No one notices.
You steal a $330,000 violin, and you can't sell that. What are you going to do with that?
You're not even a violin person. It sounds like a violent person, but a violin person who would know how to go about selling such an expensive item.
No idea.
Wow. Well, I'm glad the guy got it back.
He did get it back. They said that it was a very gentlemanly exchange. He now has the violin, and that guy now has...
No charges against him.
No charges.
Which is, I think, all that he should be asking for.
In truth, it ended okay. I'm not going to say it's the most heartwarming story.
Oh,
but,
I'm glad, though.
It's not... My heart's not cold right now.
Yeah, I mentioned when we said the story, we've all left things. And, man, that moment you realize that it just goes away, never coming back. But for this, it was so expensive. It's good he got it back.
It's pretty disappointing.
It's a treasure, Obi. It's a treasure.
A treasure.
I gave during the last fundraiser, and all I got was this crappy morning show. This is The Riot on listener-supported Radio U.
The reason I want to talk about this art news, is that I want to give you an opportunity to sound snooty. It is not the worst of The Riot. Like, we're right here. Here we are.
All right, never mind about that. I'll fix that.
We're not real sure what happened there. Not real sure, but it was a thing. You know what, Nikki? I wanted to, before we were so rudely interrupted by ourselves, I wanted to ask you if over the weekend, now that you have an entire year subscription to Apple TV Plus.
I didn't watch anything.
You didn't watch any of it at all?
I only watched Hallmark Christmas movies. It's so shameful. It's so shameful.
I'm ashamed of you.
And I watched 2 that were on Netflix as well.
Oh, yeah. So how were the... Okay.
They were so bad.
Were they worse than the Hallmark ones, though?
Yes, worse. They were worse.
Really?
They were worse.
How? Okay. With respect to Hallmark... How is that possible? Because
it's
those Hallmark Christmas movies are so basic.
It's actually possible. The one about the safari was just badly acted and just bad. And then there was one about these 2 girls who switch when they go see their grandparents. And then at the end, I can't even describe the storyline because I don't want to spoil it in case anyone does want to watch it.
Thank you.
But they just like, and then it was like a Jerry Springer thing. It was like, and then they kept pulling all these like supposed to be shocking things. It was just so bad. Everything was bad about it. And then I went to watch the Hallmark movie. I was like, well, it's a different type of bad, but it was like doable.
Well, okay. The Hallmark movies know what they are.
Yeah. I think they do it well because they know what they're supposed to be doing.
You know, it's kind of that thing where somebody knows they're good at one thing and they just stick to that one thing.
Wow.
You know?
Hallmark, or not Hallmark, but Netflix was just like, it was just like, what is this? I mean, if I'm wrong, then that's just, okay. I'm wrong.
I just want you to know that your body language right now is telling me how bad you really, like, it's not that Nikki didn't just not like it. She really didn't like it, guys.
I was really excited. I thought, well, Netflix will bring a different level to this Christmas movie thing.
Okay.
And it went down.
So...
It was a different level, which is the opposite way I wanted to go.
Oh, that's too bad.
The Christmas princess stuff, you know, even that was better than what I saw.
Okay, but wait, the Christmas princess, was that last year?
They have 2 of those.
So do they have a new one of those coming?
That's coming later.
Okay. Well, you can't lead with your best.
Well, I mean, maybe they put the worst stuff out in November.
Now, I don't know if that's true. We'll have to see. But
I really was looking forward to like seeing a good Christmas movie. Just nice, light-hearted, little romance, little Christmas.
Yeah.
Nothing. It was bad. It was mad.
All right. Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that's all right.
And you'll notice that we spent about 10 seconds on Apple Plus Apple TV Plus.
That! I forgot about that. Hey, I just got it for free. I wasn't expecting to watch anything.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I watched some of it. I'll tell you about it. But I feel like we need a palate cleanser.
Why? Were you offended too?
Well, no. I just think
about how bad it was when they went to Space Safari.
You know what, Nikki? I don't feel like you're ready to take this seriously.
No, I will. I want to hear about the space show on Apple TV Plus.
Okay.
The Riot really wanted to do this live, but now they can play video games and eat rice cakes instead. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Just to let you know, off air, Nikki has been continuing to tell me.
Hey, if this is not a safe space to do that, then I don't know where I can.
How much she did not like.
I'm usually pretty quiet about what I do and do not like. And I just had some personal feelings about some of the Christmas movies I watched.
No, I love it. You know, okay, real talk, I love when people get honest about what they do and don't like. And so this has been a while ago, but I was doing like basically a book club kind of thing, like a small group. And what I would do is I would always open the group with the icebreaker. Don't call it that. I'll tell you that's a whole other thing. You never tell people you're going to play a game. You just play a game.
Yeah.
When you say you're going to play a game, defenses go up. If you go into it, they just do it. So when I would ask them, but always a negative question. So it was never like, tell me something you love. Instead, I would be like, tell me the worst movie you've ever seen. And people come alive when you give them a chance to complain. They come alive.
Because normally you keep it in.
Yeah. And someone said to me, why are you always so negative? I was like, do you see how much people enjoy getting a chance to be honest? Let them be honest.
So if it no for Apple TV Plus, going into the weekend, I got a year for free because I got a new phone. So it just comes with it. Yeah. And that's if you get any device within a certain amount of time.
I think from September 10th on.
If you go into Apple TV Plus, you'll see that you actually did get a free thing. You just have to activate it.
Yeah, you have to. And so I, this weekend, did not sign up for it because the first 2 episodes of everything were free.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it didn't matter.
Nice.
It didn't matter. And the good news is I didn't watch anything.
So you didn't even watch the space one?
No.
I don't remember what it's called.
It's called For All Mankind, which I really do want to see. They say that's the best thing on the service right now. But I watched the first 15 minutes of the morning show. Mm-hmm. And the only reason, Nikki, that you need to watch it is as a morning broadcaster, you need to watch Jennifer Aniston get out of bed.
Is it kind of like how life is for us?
It was just one of those things watching it. I'm just like, oh, yeah.
Too real.
Yep. Because she gets up and she hits her snooze alarm a couple of times. Then she gets up and goes over and gets on the treadmill. And she's on the treadmill walking, but then she has her head laying on the treadmill. And I'm like, yeah, there it is.
It's like looking at a mirror every morning.
There's just so many things she does in that sequence that I was like, I don't know about the rest of the show, but I want to show everybody I know this part.
Because it's too similar to what we go through.
I want them to see what it's like to get ready for this thing. And you know what she had that I think would be awesome is, as she's driving to work, she doesn't drive. She has a driver and 3 people in the car that are getting her prepped.
Oh, my goodness.
For the day.
We don't get that.
And I was like, dude, can you imagine somebody running through your show with you before you get to work? No, not getting that.
Not even just if you're not into radio or TV, but they're running through your day with you.
Yeah.
They're driving you to whatever you got. They're making your food.
Awesome.
It does sound nice.
How do we do that?
Well, it's not
I know. All right.
Not
fine.
Probably possible, but
it's not happening.
I like making my breakfast.
I don't. I
make
don't
it the night
ever
before.
Fixing food. That's part of why I have a weight problem. Because I'm just whatever you have, I'll just eat that.
We're sharing too much here. I think we're sharing too much.
I got to look in the mirror over the weekend, and I was like, somebody's getting fat again. So, but you know
are
what?
we supposed to put on weight to go into the winter? We're like
yeah,
squirrels.
but I did that last winter, and it was supposed to disappear at some point.
I just never did.
Now I'm just packing on top.
You're building and building and building.
I'm getting ready for the nuclear holocaust, the zombie apocalypse.
You won't need to wear a coat in the winter if you keep going.
That's right.
It should be warm enough.
Hey, so what do you think of Obadiah?
The truth is, he's not a very nice person.
Okay, well, what about Nikki?
The very best there is.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
Just had a cauliflower chip.
Yeah, it's like a nacho chip, but instead it's lower carb because it's got cauliflower stuff in it.
It's good until you really get to the aftertaste, and then it's not good.
That'll always get you.
No, it's not good. But everything leading up to the aftertaste,
not bad,
was good.
Especially if you took it and dipped it with something. I think that would really help.
Nikki, what do you think of when you think of Wisconsin?
Cheese. Always cheese.
Cheese heads, cheese. I'm sure they have plenty of wonderful things going on that do not involve cheese.
I've heard a lot of people drive through that state. It's supposed to be super pretty, but I've never driven through it.
My friend Matt's family, when he was a kid, they always vacationed to Wisconsin. So to me, it was just what happens there?
Something. It must be nice.
What magical land is Wisconsin that you go to? I do not know. But I present to you, Nikki, the most Wisconsin thing that has ever happened over the weekend. Somebody ordered some pizza from the Pizza Hut on Schofield Avenue in Weston, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
When they ordered their pizza, they were clear about something. Extra cheese.
They're not messing around with that. That was their order.
They wanted extra
cheese.
So the woman gets the pizza and then brings it back to Pizza Hut, throws it on the counter, and says that her boyfriend won't eat the pizza because it doesn't have
extra
enough cheese.
Oh, she drove back to the Pizza Hut?
Yeah.
Aww.
So the staff said, look, we'll remake the pizza, but that's extra cheese. It's going to have the same amount of cheese on it.
Can you ask for extra cheese?
Maybe that's, Nikki, that's great.
Is that something that we need to move towards if extra cheese is not enough?
So the woman then threw the pizza away and left.
Aw, you know what? All right. That means other bad things happened that day. And that was the pizza at the end of the day. That was the last straw.
I'd like to tell you that's true, Nikki, but this was at 11:48 a.m.
Oh, we had a tough morning. We've had a tough morning. You know how it goes.
And just to be clear, you're talking like the story's over.
Oh, it's not? There's still more?
She threw the pizza away and left.
Yeah.
But then she came back.
Oh, now you're never supposed to go back, guys.
With her boyfriend, who began yelling and screaming. When they told him he'd make a new pizza, the man said that he wouldn't eat it and because they would spit on it.
They would, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So apparently he was so loud and so whatever, the manager called the police. After the manager called the police, they left. But I'll tell you what, you don't commit a cheese crime in Wisconsin. They take that stuff seriously. So the police, they had their delivery address. They had delivered the pizza. So the police went and charged the man with disorderly conduct.
Well, he must have really been causing a scene.
If you really, really read between the lines here, this woman saying my boyfriend won't eat the pizza and bringing it back and then him coming and yelling, I feel like if there's a problem in this story, it might be the boyfriend. It's the boyfriend.
But as Pizza Hut, you could have just been like, yes, ma'am, and then taken it back and just added a little bit more cheese.
I don't think I would be a great manager at a store because I would just give people whatever they wanted. They'd be like, if there's not enough cheese on this, all right, cool.
I'll show you more cheese.
Hang out. I'll eat this one, and I'll get you some more cheese. That's cool. Thanks for coming to Pizza Hut.
But they don't really do that. They must have just...
Maybe you're not supposed to. Maybe that's bad management. As a customer, you're like, yes, thank you. But maybe when you go to management school, Pizza Hut training...
You have to draw the line somewhere.
But listen, you can't just keep remaking pizzas. Yeah, that's like the time Pizza Hut never delivered my pizza. I went 2.5 hours, no pizza, and I called them like, hey, I never got my pizza. And the first thing that the supervisor says to me is, sir, you will not be receiving a free pizza.
See, that's annoying. You weren't doing anything wrong. You just didn't get your pizza.
I didn't ask for a free pizza. At this point, this whole relationship has been based on the fact that I was willing to pay you for pizza.
But not anymore.
It's why I called. But you guys just didn't bring it. Ever.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh no! I missed it! Do it again!
You can hear us live every day on the RadioU network through the RadioU app or at riot.radiou.com.
And even the penguins are shaven.